So still talking about the connection between soul and change and how soul is necessary for change. And soul is contrasted with spirit. Spirit is connected to fire and air and it tends to rise. And soul is connected to earth and water and is more involved in descent. And so soul is connected to the idea that there's an internal sea, the sea of imagination that awakens when we fall asleep. And inside the psyche, you could say the psyche is connected to water typically. And so I was thinking of this story about a little fish. Fish is one of the symbols of the self. And the self, you could say, is in the great ocean of existence. And so sometimes a little fish will be used to symbolize the self. And there's an anecdote of a woman who was feeling a little lonely at home. And so she decided to get herself one of those little goldfish in a bowl. And she saw one in a store and she got it, brought it home, and she'd feed the little thing. And she enjoyed having the company of that fish, probably because it reminded her that she had a soul and in fact a deep self, and that inside she was swimming in the waters of existence. Anyway, over time, the water got murky and she knew that the fish was in danger because it wouldn't get enough oxygen. She decided to clean the water. In order to do that, she ran a tub and she took the fish out and put it in a warmish water in this big tub while she cleaned out the little bowl. When she went back after putting fresh water into the bowl, she went to get the fish out of the tub and noticed that it was swimming in the same size circle as the bowl it had been in. And that caused her to really think about her own life and how change occurs. In other words, each of us swims inside our little fishbowl of existence. And each of us typically is kept in the same small circle of understanding, in the same small circle of friends, in the same small circle of work, or the same small circle of love, all the time by walls that are essentially invisible. And in order to really change, in order to transform our lives, we have to somehow swim out of the fishbowl. So then it becomes an issue of imagining what is it, what are the invisible things that keep me from entering the greater waters of life, from getting out into the big ocean and doing some long backstrokes and taking some great swims and being part of the great flowing tide of life. And so that's part of the issue here with soul and change, or examining myself enough to figure out what invisible things, because other people can't see them. On a good day, I might look pretty good and people might think I'm cool, but inside there are these invisible walls that keep me, or keep the deep self in me, or keep my own soul from growing bigger and expanding and changing in meaningful ways. And so I like to think that some of the things that create those invisible walls are unfinished issues, say from childhood. That would be psychology's point of view. That a person has walls that were built around them, perhaps necessarily so, during childhood, but later on in adult life, those walls keep us from being fulfilled, keep us from filling our lives and changing and becoming bigger. And then there are many other things, like inside one's fishbowl, a person has less libido or vital energy for life, and it can function like an invisible wall, keeping someone trapped. Another invisible wall is created by ideas that are not natural to our own soul. Everybody inherits ideas from their culture, from their family, even from their education, and often those ideas, which may have been interesting at a certain time, turn out to be like invisible walls, keeping us from changing ourselves, from transforming and becoming the big fish that we're intended to be, because the soul, if it could, would help release the great self. And the great self is part of the great ocean of imagination. It's capable of change and capable of handling great changes. And just to put one more point on it, according to the old point of view, when we become more ourself, it automatically benefits the people around us, and it contributes to the healing and the making of soul in the world, because the world used to be called the world soul, or animus mundi, the world ensouled. And our job is to connect to that. And when we do that, we're automatically of a benefit to both nature and to culture. And so I'm talking about soul and change in hopes of offering some things to help people transform into the big fish, which makes this whole life an ocean of joy.